What's going on, YouTube? It's your girl V, the Notary. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. So, this video, the intention of this video is not to terrify you guys, but I do want to share a recent flying experience that I had, so that you guys are all aware. I mean, I'm sure you've been watching the news and you've seen there's been so many, air tragedies, close calls, all kinds of stuff going on. So I just wanted to share what happened to me a couple of weeks ago, post the very traumatic air collision that happened at DCA at the end of January. So, but before we get into that, number one, you guys, please like, subscribe, share, all of the things. Yes, I'm happy that you guys are still rocking with me. I appreciate you all. So if you're new here, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, share, and everything. We talk about all things, small business development, real estate, notary related, loan signing related, and a little bit of personal story that I, share with you guys from time to time. So, yes, please subscribe. I appreciate it so much. So, another quick update. I am in my new house, you guys. I've been really, really busy with moving in, unpacking, packing, all of that stuff. But I am in my basement. It's kind of like a little bit of an echo, but I'm just getting into the groove of, more traffic because I'm a little further away, like from my daughter's school. And just kind of just getting acclimated with my surroundings. But I absolutely love my home and I'm really excited about that. I'm in the basement filming. I want to find a really, really good, location in my house to film. So, stay tuned on that. I want to give you guys an update on my experience moving in the house since you guys have already been on this journey with me. I absolutely want to keep you guys updated. Okay. So that's really quickly what's kind of going on with me. I'm just like unpacking right now. So why you all came here. So as you guys know, I would say as of like late January, there have been lots of instances with airlines, with, plane accidents, with close calls, with planes falling over on, the other side, like all kinds of stuff. And not that there aren't, air disasters all the time, but I think that there are, since maybe, January 21st of this year, I'm just saying there have been more, they're more amplified and there's more cause for concern. So I just wanted to share with what, my recent situation that happened to me. So I was flying from New Orleans to DC. I attended the National 8A conference, which I, attend every year. This year it was in New Orleans. And so I was coming back from New Orleans, and it was right after the Super Bowl. So what day was the Super Bowl? I went to New Orleans literally the day after the Super Bowl, and then I flew back on February 14th. So it was already hectic because of that. The airport in New Orleans was crowded when I got there. And then just, some of the remnants from the conference, like leaving, just the airport, it was just crazy. So when I left on February 14th to come from New Orleans to DC, my flight was maybe 2 hours delayed, right? So that was the beginning of it. So I was already kind of antsy just because, that accident just happened at DC on American Airlines and I was on American Airlines. And so I was already just kind of nervous. Just a little thing about me, I have had a fear of flying for a long time. And I would say the last 2 years, my fear has kind of gone away. And I think that's because I do fly a considerable amount. And, I've just kind of gotten more comfortable with flying. And so this happening where there's different air disasters just coming out of the blue is just been very, it's been making me anxious. And now I'm like, damn, should I cut back on the flying? So, and literally I flew right after that situation, right? So anyway, I'm coming back from this conference to DC. My flight is already delayed 2 hours. Okay, so We're flying from New Orleans to DC. It's like a 2.5, 3 hour flight. It's a direct flight. Number one, I hate those really small planes. So we were on one of those small planes, like almost the identical plane of the accident that happened. You know how they'll have those regional jets that American Airlines has, and I know United has those jets too, but it was a regional jet, which I don't know what that means. Basically, it's the smaller that has like how many rows? Maybe 15 rows, and it's only two seats. You know, there's two on the left and two on the right, and it's like so. It was a considerably smaller plane than the normal 757 or 747, I forget. But anyway, so the flight was already, we were in a small plane. It was already kind of bumpy. I'm on American Airlines on the same type of aircraft that the accident happened. So I'm already really, really nervous. Flight was bumpy, right? Okay. It's, I'm keeping it together. I'm keeping myself together, trying to stay calm. And then, when we are about to land, the pilot comes on and says, okay, we need to circle around because there is something that's happening at DCA. My co-worker's with me. She's like literally sitting in the seat behind me. So I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? So we're just like, okay, so we literally circle around for like 45 minutes. Very bumpy flight, right? So then all of a sudden, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with DCA, the airport, the main airport, Washington National in DC. But when you land in DC, it's very distinctive, right? It's very much like you see the National Monument. It's all water. It's pretty much a water landing, like you're over the Potomac. Like you see like Arlington, you see Virginia, you see everything. You know it when you know it, right? And that's the airport that I normally fly out of. And so when we're landing, mind you, remember the pilot tells us, okay, that he has to circle around for whatever reason. It's really, really bumpy. And so I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, Lord, please just let us land safely. Like my mind is racing 100 miles a minute, right? And then I'm looking for those specific, pinpointing like, okay, do we see the monument? I don't see it yet. And so I kind of doze off just for a second because I was exhausted. I just had it was a business trip, obviously, so I was really, really busy. So I'm tired. And all of a sudden, you could kind of tell when you're descending or whatever. Then, when you go back through the clouds, it gets bumpy. So I open my eyes and I'm like, oh, okay, we're landing, but it's really, really bumpy. And then I'm seeing just grass, you guys. So the lady next to me like nudges me. She's like, what in the hell's going on? And so my co-worker's behind me. She like taps me. She's like, what's going on? You guys, tell me why we landed in Richmond. We landed in Richmond. Bumpy landing. We land in Richmond instead of DCA. So when we land, everyone's like, okay, this is not national. Where are we at? You know how the flight attendants have the, I'm pointing them back at me like they're back at me, but you know how they have their little seats or whatever. And so we're looking at the flight attendants. They're like, well, we don't know what's going on. So the pilots come on and like 15 minutes after we land, mind you. So we're all sitting there like, what the hell is going on? Where are we at? Right? Pilot comes on and it's like, hey, everybody, unfortunately, we apologize. We had to make an emergency landing in Richmond instead of landing at National. So we're like, oh my God, like everyone's just making noise, like upset. First of all, why did it take you so long to tell us that you landed in a whole different city? And mind you, I don't know if you guys are familiar, without traffic, the drive from Richmond to DC is about an hour and 45 minutes without traffic. It maybe hour 30 minutes if you have lead foot, right? If you drive real fast. So I'm tired. I need to get home. I need to get to my kid. Like, I'm like, what the hell? So then we sit on the tarmac. Okay, so he comes and says, there is an emergency at National right now. And we were running out of fuel. So we had to land somewhere. This is what he tells us. After at this point, he tells us we landed it in Richmond. Doesn't tell us why. Then maybe 15 minutes later, then he comes back and tells us there is something happening at National, and because we were running out of fuel, we had to land somewhere. So then he says, okay, we're going to try to refuel and then get you guys back up in the air and get you to National. So y'all, to make a very long story short, he keeps coming on, make every 20 minutes, like, okay, they're bringing the little reef because we can't go, all of the gates are full. So they're bringing the fuel to us, right? It's like a little cart that had, or a little like go-kart that has the fuel on it. They're bringing the fuel to us, right? So then he keeps every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes, he's coming on and telling us that the fuel's coming. So we're getting mad. It smells like a Greyhound bus on there. People keep coming back. At that moment, everybody's bladder was going crazy. It smells like piss. We're towards the back of the plane. It's hot, because it was too much, right? And so 2 hours go by. Finally, we see the little fuel cart coming. Then he's like, okay, the fuel cart's here. So we're like, oh, okay, the 2 hours have gone by, but whatever, get us to DC. We sit there for like another 10 minutes. Then he comes on and says, well, unfortunately, because of whatever's happening at National, we have to cancel the flight. So they cancel our flight, and I had to take an Uber from Richmond to DC, which took 2.5 hours. That's a whole other story. But moral of the story, I wanted to just come and share this story with you guys. And I'm not no conspiracy theorist or anything like that, okay? But I am logical. Something's happening with flying right now. And I don't know what it is. I have my own theories. Well, I'll share a theory. I think that perhaps there have been some air traffic controllers that have been let go. Again, this is just based on what happened in my situation and people I've spoken to that have since, flown out of National, and just things that are happening. I think maybe there were some air traffic controllers that have been let go recently for whatever reason, and they cannot handle all of the air traffic. And so because of that, flights are getting transferred to different places. There's confusion going on with flights. I don't know. All I can do is speak on my personal experience that I've had recently. So I say all of that to say that, number one, I'm definitely not going to be flying out of National for a while, because just take all of this out of it. If you have flown in or out of National, you know that the takeoffs and the landings are always like rough. It's always like a very sharp like takeoff and sharp landing, and like regularly. I'm so used to it now that it's like, okay, this is just how it is when you take off from National or land at National. It's always kind of like, it's just real sharp. I don't know how to explain it. But it's like a very uncomfortable takeoff and landing when you take off. So add this element to it, and add the fact that maybe there aren't enough, again, allegedly, I don't know, these are just my theories. Perhaps there are not enough air traffic controllers right now. Yeah, I'm going to chill on, I don't want to say I'm going to chill on flying altogether, but I don't really have any air travel scheduled right now anyway. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to fly out of National, because I've talked to a lot of people that are having the same experiences out of DC National Airport. Again, maybe it's the recovery from the plane accident. I don't know what's happening, but something's happening with air travel. Just, I think 2 days ago, there was an instance with a Southwest flight in Chicago that was landing, and there was a plane taking off, and there was almost a collision again. Then we had the issue that we had with the flight in Toronto that caught on fire and turned over. The Philly crash. Just, there's too many close calls right now, and I just don't really feel safe. I do recognize that it's unrealistic for people to just not travel at all. you have to fly, but I think you just need to be very strategic on how you travel and maybe what airline or what airport you travel out of, because national right now, I don't know. I think they need about 3 to 6 months to recalibrate or whatever. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. This is not notary or real estate related. However, you guys know I like to give you story times and stuff about things that happen with me. And since this is so relevant right now, I just wanted to kind of tell you guys my personal experience that I had a very weird emergency landing right after all of this stuff, and I don't believe in coincidences like that for real. um Maybe a little coincidence every now and again, but like back to back things, mm-mm. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Hopefully I didn't scare the shit out of you guys, but I just feel like I wanted to share that so you guys know that there's some weird stuff going on in the aviation industry right now. Okay, so again, share my videos, like, subscribe, and share. If you are interested in real estate, notaries, building your small business, government contracting, please, please, please subscribe and share and drop down in my comments. Let me know, how are your guys' flying experiences right now? Have you experienced anything like me? Hopefully not. But if you have, please share with the community so we can all talk about it. Okay? Have a good day, you guys. Bye-bye.